Hello and welcome to Nightline. I'm Nurzi Patwanche. The headlines. Barisan Nasional retakes Semenyih from Pakatan Harapan. And MACC files police report on Raja Petra's Pulau Pinang tunnel claims. Barisan Nasional has emerged victorious in the Semenyih by-election, its second victory against the ruling Pakatan Harapan coalition since losing power last year. BN candidate Zakaria Hanafi won with a majority 1,914 votes, clinching 19,780 votes. Zakaria beat PH Muhammad Aiman Zainali, who secured 17,866 votes, and two others, PSM's Nik Aziz Afiq Abdul and independent candidate Kwan Chi Hong, who garnered 847 and 725 votes respectively. The Election Commission EC said there were a total of 650 spoiled votes in this by-election. EC also said the voter turnout of 73.35% was the highest compared to the 5 other by-elections held since the 14th general election last year. There are 53,411 eligible voters in the state constituency. The Semenyih by-election was triggered by the death of incumbent Assemblyman Bakhtiar Muhammad Noor of Bersatu on January 11th. The victory gives BN its 5th seat in the Selangor State Assembly. It had won 4 seats in the Assembly in the 14th general election in May last year. PH has 50 seats in the Assembly and PAS has 1. Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission MACC has lodged a police report over claims made by blogger Raja Petra Kamarudin in relation to the Pulau Pinang undersea tunnel project. MACC Chief Commissioner Datuk Sri Muhammad Shukri Abdul, in an utusan online report on Saturday, confirmed that his officers had filed a police report on the matter on Thursday. He declined to elaborate but said that MACC would let police investigate the matter. It is believed that the police report came after Raja Petra recently published several documents on his blog, which he claimed were MACC investigation papers on the tunnel and related road projects in Pulau Pinang. Several DAP leaders and state government officials were mentioned in the article, including allegations of graft. Raja Petra had claimed that the matter was revealed by the contractor who was arrested by MACC. On Friday, Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad had dismissed graft allegations made by Raja Petra on the undersea tunnel project, calling it as nothing more than lies. The Parliament is in the midst of establishing cross-party groups as practiced in the United Kingdom. Dewan Rakyat Speaker Datuk Muhammad Arif Mat Yusof said one of the main reasons is to ensure that policy decisions made by the parliamentary institution is more reflective of the people's aspirations.
Selain daripada caucus, kita juga dalam usaha untuk menubuhkan kumpulan rentas parti, yang apa yang disebut di UK sebagai all-party parliamentary groups. Tujuannya agak sama supaya dapat berinteraksi dengan orang luar atas tajuk-tajuk yang tertentu. Kita nakkan feedback, ya. Dan selain daripada feedback, kita boleh interaksi juga untuk menyatakan ini polisinya, apa pendapat kamu dan sebagainya. Dari two-way street lah.
Sebagai pembuka pesada ucapan.
He also said the cross-party groups concept allows for multiple interactions between MPs, parliamentary speakers and officers, as well as normal men on the street, including students or lecturers, within the confines of the parliamentary institution. He further explained that all interactions using this platform will be documented for reference purposes and pushed to decision makers in the higher levels of the government. Earlier, Datuk Muhammad Arif officiated and launched the Manifesto Book of Changes in conjunction with the Electoral System Reform Seminar in Parliament on Saturday. Education Minister Dr. Mazli Malik said students under the Persons with Disabilities PWD category, athletes, Orang Asli and the B40 groups will be placed on a special track for admission to public universities. He said the move was part of the Education for All concept, which is based on the philosophy of equal opportunity.
Dr. Mazli said with a special path, the four groups did not have to compete with those from the mainstream to pursue their tertiary education. Instead, they only need to meet requirements set by the selected universities and would only be filtered among their own groups.
Pertamanya untuk OKU. Jadi kalau ada percentage untuk OKU, maka di antara OKU yang terbaik akan masuk. Yang keduanya ialah orang asli. Di kalangan masyarakat orang asli kita nak ramaikan lagi bilangan orang asli yang dapat belajar di IPT dan mereka akan bersaing sama mereka dan merit dia ialah yang terbaik di kalangan mereka.
Dr. Mazli said this at the Jom Maso IPT 2019 launch at University Tun Hussein On in Johor on Saturday. The ministry launched the program as a one-stop information center for students to obtain information on admission to public higher learning institutions, which include public universities, polytechnics, community colleges, and vocational colleges. The program is also being held in conjunction with the start of admission applications to public higher learning institutions from February 25th to April 2nd this year.
Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad has given the green light to the Visa on Arrival VOA implementation in Langkawi, Kedah. According to Tourism, Arts and Culture Minister Datuk Mohammadin Katapi, the decision was made during a recent meeting between him and the Premier, who is also Langkawi Member of Parliament. Datuk Mohammadin said he will also write a letter regarding the decision to Home Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin as the next course of action. Meanwhile, Tourism, Arts and Culture Ministry Deputy Secretary General Datuk Haslina Abdul Hamid said a series of discussion between the two ministries has been held to iron out issues regarding the VOA implementation in Langkawi. She also said discussions on the matter have been very positive. The Department of Islamic Development, JAKIM, says it would look into claims of non-halal substances in immunization shots, resulting in a handful of parents refusing to have their children vaccinated. Deputy Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, Fuzia Saleh, assured that a thorough check would be conducted with the necessary fatwa issued before authorities move to draft the mandatory law aimed at improving vaccination coverage.
Kita hormat hak ibu bapa dan di masa yang sama kita hormat juga hak orang lain. Sebab itulah yang perlu kita lihat dari sudut fatwa, dari sudut apa orang kata hak asasi manusia, dari sudut akhirnya barulah kita boleh siapkan satu dasar yang merangkumi segalanya, ya.
On Friday, Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Dr. Wan Azizah Wan Ismail said the government would look into the possibility of making immunization vaccines a precondition for children to be enrolled in schools. On Monday, the media also reported that several parties, including the Malaysian Islamic Doctors Association and Malaysia iMedic, had suggested a similar move to protect children from preventable diseases such as diphtheria and measles. This following a 2-year-old child in Johor who never received a diphtheria vaccine had died last week due to the disease. 5 more children reported to have been in contact with the victim were also confirmed positive for diphtheria. The results of the 2018 Sijil Tinggi Persekolahan Malaysia STPM examination will be out on March 11th. The Malaysian Examinations Council MEC in a statement on Saturday said that candidates can obtain their results at their respective schools from noon onwards. Candidates can also check their results via My SMS by typing STPM result space identity card number and send to 515-888. Checks can also be done online via the MEC portal from noon the same day. As for private candidates, the STPM results will be announced by post. A total of 42,849 candidates set for the 2018 STPM examination last year at 677 centres throughout the country. Kedah Rohingya Society of Malaysia RSM President Yusuf Ali has revealed that the group of 35 Rohingya refugees found stranded on a beach at Simpang 4 Perlis early Friday were brought in by a human trafficking syndicate. He also believed the mastermind of the syndicate to be his fellow countrymen. The syndicate, Yusuf alleged, operated under the guise of a non-governmental organization, NGO, fighting for the rights of the Rohingya refugees. He said Malaysia's political and economic stability were used to bait the ethnic Rohingyas to come to the country. The Rohingyas were also promised employment opportunities in various manufacturing and plantation sectors.
Ini NGO dengan dia buat macam ejen, kita mau masuk dalam kerja dia tangan dia apa mau jual. Bangsa Rohingya ni jual dengan apa? Kelang-kelang lah, apa-apa lah dia ambil je. Dia apa mau buat ejen.
Yusuf also claimed the Rohingyas in Malaysia were forced to purchase smart cards costing between 500 and 800 ringgit. The smart cards were sold by those from the bogus NGO who claimed that the cards would be their insurance when faced with deportation. Yusuf also stated that this has prolonged since last year, and about 190,000 ethnic Rohingyas nationwide have been told to gather in Kuala Lumpur and Kelantan to get their cards.
Dia kata ini kad ini ambil kalau boleh buka bank, boleh ambil lesen pemandu, boleh buka kedai. Bangsa Rohingya ni bodoh. Dia apa ambil lah, dia apa tak tahu ini bagi kerajaan ke siapa ke. Bangsa Rohingya ni takut apa? Dia apa dulu di Myanmar takut cukup kerajaan.
Yusuf also said the card bought from the NGO was different compared to the smart card issued to refugees and asylum seekers registered under the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees or UNHCR. He added the smart card sold by the NGO was more similar to the National Validation Card, NVC, issued by the Myanmar government, a form of deceit to deny the Rohingyas of their rights to citizenship. Meanwhile, police are expecting a second wave of Rohingya refugees to arrive in Malaysia by sea. Perlis Police Chief Datuk Nur Musha Mohamad said this was based on the arrival of the first batch on Friday involving women and children. Datuk Nur Musha believed the boat carrying 35 Rohingya refugees, including 9 children, had initially escaped enforcement patrols by Marine Police and the Malaysian Maritime Enforcement Agency MMEA. The refugees were subsequently detected by a fishing boat. He also said the refugees were dropped off by human traffickers in the middle of the sea, leaving them to make their own way through the coast and on land once low tide kicked in. He added that the case has been handed over to the Immigration Department as no criminal elements were found.
A government-linked company, GLC head of department has been detained by the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, MACC, to facilitate investigation into a bribery case involving 10,000 ringgit. Sources said the 51-year-old was picked up at a restaurant in Taman Prima Saujana, Kajang, Selangor, around 11:30 a.m. on Saturday. It is believed that the individual had received a bribe as an inducement for him to recommend the extension of a contract by another company which provides auditing services for an oil palm factory owned by the GLC. The case is investigated under Section 16A of the MACC Act 2009. The latest series of a nationwide crackdown on illegal immigrants launched at midnight on Friday by the Immigration Department saw 1,485 people arrested. Its Director General Datuk Khairul Zaimi Daud said the operation was a collaboration between various agencies, including the National Registration Department and the Civil Defence Force. According to authorities, all those detained were among some 3,750 foreign nationals inspected by enforcement officers during the joint operation. Most of them committed the same offense like overstaying, entering the country without valid documentation, and abusing their social visit passes. In Selangor, 2 local men were nabbed in a police raid at a luxury condominium in Kota Damansara, Petaling Jaya on Friday evening. The duo were believed to have just embarked on an online gambling scheme since a couple of days earlier. Investigation revealed that the syndicate was operating 24 hours daily, with each of the two individuals arrested taking turn to work on a 12-hour shift. The duo, aged 22 and 24, were believed to be the only ones running the operation. Also seized in the raid were 10 mobile phones, 2 computers and 2 modems. The case is being investigated under the Common Gaming Houses Act.
Coming up next, Nightline's Esports segment. Don't go away. And now it's time for our Esports segment, bringing you the latest esports news in Malaysia. Perak is eyeing more investments in the esports segment as the northern state gears up to become the national esports hub in the country. In light of this, the state government has launched the Esports Professional Industry Conference, or EPIC 2019, in a bid to promote the various benefits that the industry has to offer.
Perak Youth Development and Sports Committee Chairman Howard Lee believes the conference will help convince industry players of the state's goal to continue developing the Malaysian esports industry. The state exco wants stakeholders to witness how far the industry has grown and the potential it brings with long-term investments in the ecosystem.
Keikhlasan kerajaan negeri dan juga pelaburan kerajaan negeri akan menjadi mesej yang sangat jelas kepada pelabur-pelabur yang berpotensi, penggiat dan penggerak esports yang ikhlas dan jujur nak membangunkan ekosistem, dan mereka akan gravitate kepada Perak.
The two-day EPIC 2019 at the Casuarina Convention Center in Meru, Ipoh, which ends on Sunday, is focused on 3 main aspects, namely esports conference, exhibition, and competition. Panel discussions would also take place at the conference on esports grassroots development, health, economic growth, as well as the esports ecosystem.
Boleh datang tengok pameran, boleh datang menyaksikan pertandingan yang harap-harap akan jadi sengit dan sangat exciting, dan saya rasa boleh dengar, kita akan ada skrin kat luar, orang boleh dengar perbincangan, boleh menyertai sembang kencang yang saya pasti akan sangat kencang.
There will also be an exhibition on esports featuring cosplay characters and booths showing off the latest gaming gears and equipment. The Kinta District Esports Tournament will also provide a platform for gaming enthusiasts to showcase their talent. 16 teams will battle it out in Dota 2, while 40 teams are expected to go head-to-head in PUBG. 32 teams will also take the stage to compete in Mobile Legends, and 64 individuals will play for the Cup in FIFA 19 on PlayStation. EPIC 2019 is supported by MyGameOn, the official media portal under Media Prima Digital.
And now it's time for our Campus on Cam COC segment, where we showcase videos and highlight details of events that take place at kindergartens, schools and universities sent to us by the public. You too can stand a chance to be on television, and all you have to do is email us your videos and the details to campusoncam@tv3.com.my. But before you do that, let's take a look at what we have compiled for you.
UiTM Negeri Sembilan's Kuala Pilah campus has organized a program for its students, namely the Change Makers Mindset Simulation Program. The 3-day event aims to expose students to the need for critical thinking skills in order for them to solve complex problems in real time. And in order to achieve that, a group activity was carried out in stages, using the design thinking simulation process as a syllabus guideline. The process was executed in the form of competition between groups so that students are able to develop and effectively apply critical thinking skills to their academic studies, to the complex problems that they will face, and to the critical choices they will be forced to make in the future. In Kuala Lumpur Secondary School, SMK Sri Bintang Utara held its cross-country race last month. Organized by the school's co-curriculum unit, around 500 students participated in a 3-hour event which started at 8 a.m. The race took the runners through the areas around the Sri Bintang complex in Taman Shamlin, covering 7 kilometers. The event comprised 6 categories, and the winners will be representing the school in the district-level competition.
Eight killed as shelling continues in Kashmir. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Indian and Pakistani soldiers are once again targeting each other's posts and villages along their volatile frontier in disputed Kashmir, killing at least 8 people, including 6 civilians and 2 Pakistani troops. According to authorities, fighting resumed overnight as the rivals traded gunfire and shelling until dawn Saturday, leaving 2 siblings and their mother dead in Indian-controlled Kashmir. In Pakistan-controlled Kashmir, meanwhile, government officials said Indian troops with heavy weapons indiscriminately targeted border villages along the line of control, killing a boy. After a lull of a few hours, shelling and small arms fire began again, with at least 2 civilians killed in the fresh fighting. At least 6 other people were wounded in the incident. Tensions have been running high since Indian aircraft crossed into Pakistan on Tuesday, carrying out what India called a preemptive strike against militants blamed for a suicide bombing in Indian-controlled Kashmir that killed 40 Indian troops. Pakistan retaliated, shooting down a fighter jet Wednesday and detaining its pilot, who was later returned to India on Friday in a peace gesture. From the Super League, stay tuned. Sports football, the 2019 Super League. 2 matches took place on Saturday night. Felda United recorded a narrow 1-0 win over PJ City FC. Kedah and PKNS FC played out a 1-0 draw, while Pahang thrashed PKNP 3-0. In Alostar, Kedah dominated right from the kickoff but could not find the opener. As the first half ended goalless, the Red Eagles then came close to breaking the deadlock after the break, but PKNS kept it tight at the back to ensure a share of points for both teams. The result left Kedah in third with 11 points, while PKNS in fourth place with 8 points after 5 matches. And that sports item wraps up Nightline this time around. We leave you with visuals of Japan entering the annual cherry blossom season this month, with multitudes of cherry flower-featured products launched to attract customers, ranging from forecast phone applications to gourmet, fabric and wine. I'm Norzi Patwanche. Thank you for your company and take care.